Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to another session of Unza Campus Chronicles. I'm your host for today, Jen Peary. You can call me Jay. And today I am not alone in the studio. I'm joined by Unza Barrister, and we're going to be talking about leadership in general. Leadership, this is going to encompass Unza management leadership. It's going to talk about some Unzasu and just personal leadership on a personal level. So
Yes. Other than that, I am a legal learner here at the University of Zambia.
Okay.
Yes, pursuing LLB third year. Other than that, I'm very passionate about youth development. Thus, I'm a youth development activist or advocate.
Okay.
I'm a tobacco control champion and the chairperson for the Be Relevant Africa Events chairperson.
Oh,
Yes.
that's a lot of stuff. So that's where the Unza Barrister name came from.
Oh, so
because you're
the second part of the question, where the name came from.
yes.
The name stems from my profession, which is law.
Okay.
So in countries like the legal jurisdiction in countries like UK, which is one of the countries that we also draw most of our laws, lawyers there, advocates in the courts are called barristers.
Okay.
Even when you go to Nigeria, an advocate of either the High Court, the Supreme Court, they are referred to as a barrister. And the passion that I have in my advocacy for youth development and just the passion that I have equally to contribute to the jurisprudence, the development of the legal jurisprudence in our country, that's where the name barrister stems from.
Okay.
So it actually fuels my potential to grow the burning desire to become a lawyer one day and defend clients or represent clients in court.
Oh, beautiful.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Please, so before we go forward, I would love to state the fact that I'm not a law student. So please, using vizungu vamkota.
No, vizungu vamkota, it's meant for the general public.
Oh,
People
yeah?
like you and myself.
Really?
Because if we fail to understand, then what are we regulating? Because we are regulating society and human behavior.
Beautiful.
Exactly.
Wow, beautiful. All right, so leadership is a journey, right? And I'm
yes.
sure you've held several positions along the way. Based on your experience, what does leadership truly mean to you?
Thank you so much. That's quite an interesting question to kickstart our conversation. What is leadership
to you? What does it mean to you?
Okay, so leadership to me is the ability that one has to influence others. So there are leaders who are, being a leader is one thing. Being a leader of impact is another thing.
Okay.
So there are certain leaders that influence people for positive change and leaders who influence people for negative change. Both are leaders. However, the bottom line is leadership is a privilege.
Okay.
It's a privilege in the sense that you as a leader, your influence affects the lives and even the destinies of other people.
The people you're leading.
The people that you are leading, the people that are looking up to you. So that is leadership to me. So leadership is the ability to influence others. So either for positive or negative, but I go for the latter because as a leader, you need to influence people towards positive change.
Exactly. That was sweet and clear enough. I love the fact that we are sticking to positivity. So as a leader, you're supposed to influence positive change.
Thank you.
Beautiful. So that will lead us to our third discussion topic. Some students feel that this leadership isn't meeting their expectations and what Unza deserves. All right. So but some students feel that this Unza leadership is not really meeting their expectations and what really Unza deserves. In your view, do you have a point or is it a matter of perspective?
Well, I would actually say it's a matter of both in the sense that things are drastically evolving and changing.
Yeah.
In the sense that for the past, I think, 4 or 5 years, this is the first time that we've seen management release a memo where they are saying supplementary exams will not be administered,
Mhm.
and yet students are expectant and they feel they are entitled to supplementary exams.
Yeah.
But this is the time when management comes and says, okay, we have a university policy that for so long we've turned a deaf ear or a blind eye to, but this year we shall uphold it, because they also state their own reasons. However, students queue up in long queues to elect leaders who are going to influence positive change.
Mhm.
That's to bridge the gap between the expectations and the reality that the students are expecting.
Mhm.
Thus, not just that, I believe there are so many issues, yes, that would point to the fact that students feel the current leadership is not necessarily or really meeting the expectations,
Yeah.
because some of the things are not even expected, the unexpected are happening,
Mhm.
such as, you know, the increment in the user fees.
Yeah.
Not just that, but also look at how the calendar has been compressed.
Yes.
And not just that, there are so many issues that we didn't even think, not even in our dreams did we dream that such a thing would happen at this institution.
Mhm.
So to safely answer your question, I believe the current Unzasu, the efforts or the current leadership, the efforts that they are investing in ensuring that they meet the expectations of the students are not really yielding the results that we the students are expecting.
So we can safely say they are underperforming, according to you.
Well, underperforming would be the choice of your word, but the bar was quite high.
Oh, okay.
And yes, us failing to meet the bar, I believe the best word that would describe that is underperformance.
Okay.
Because look at the things that are happening in their regime.
Mhm.
So we can say they are quite unfortunate, or it's unfortunate that we have a leadership that has failed to advocate that we should have supplementary exams, to have the calendar as it always runs, or at least to prepare students that this is what you're going to have come this academic year. So I would say the bar was quite high, looking at the intense elections that we recently had, and promises were made and students now are expectant. So we don't know what the remaining few months have in store. We don't know if it was a foundation, if there was something that the current regime was doing in the background that we the students are not aware of, that will probably mushroom in the few months that are remaining. But we still remain hopeful and
Exactly.
prayerful and optimistic that things should turn out to, you know, like they should try at all to meet the expectations of the students.
Well, beautifully answered. Okay, so we proceed. Since this leadership took over, right? So I'm not being specific or restricting the term leadership to either Unza management or Unza. So please take note of that.
Thank you so much for that clarity.
Of
Wow.
course.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, since this leadership took over, several changes have been made to the University of Zambia, right?
Yes.
Would you say these changes have had a positive or negative impact on students?
Well, so on that one, like the member proverb that says, "Oh, mfomchero kufina nudo usende."
You're gonna have to interpret that. Trust me, I didn't get anything.
The literal sense of that member proverb is,
Mhm.
he who feels the weight of the sword is the bearer that carries the sword.
Okay.
In the same fashion, you find out that ever since we had Professor Mundia Muya as the vice chancellor for the institution,
Mhm.
there's a certain trajectory that he's leading this institution, and to many of the students, even alumni, it's something that is new.
Mhm.
Oftenly, I will tell you that change is something that comes with its own reaction.
Yeah.
Because many other times when the African mindset is not so prepared for change, people who are elected or appointed in these offices, public offices, their interest is to serve the student populace or the people that have been elected or appointed to serve.
Yeah.
Thus, it's my belief that everything that they do should be in the best interest of the people that they're trying to serve.
Okay.
So that interest, it might be far-fetched, or it might be, you can only enjoy that with a foresight. If you're able to see in the future, to say, okay, in the long run, what's this trying to prepare me for? If you are going to say no supplementary exams, is it for my own good? If you're going to say no CA, no exam, is it for my own benefit? So if we are going to position ourselves to a point where when management releases a memo or releases a policy that would injure unprepared students, the question is, was I prepared when that time came? Because, one of my mentors, he defines illiteracy in the 21st century to say it's not you being unable to read or write, but illiteracy is being unable to learn, unlearn, and relearn the things that you already know. Thus, it's now a time when it calls upon the Unza community and even management to learn, relearn, and unlearn some of the things that, we've been cultured to do. Things of sanitation and the likes.
Yeah.
We cannot have the same approach of solution to the problems that we are facing and expecting to get different results. If we are to get different results from the approach that any other regime has been having towards sanitation, then we need a different approach. And as students and management, we need to prepare ourselves for that change in the approach in which we are going to handle issues that have been affecting students for a long time.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. So from what you've talked about, I think my take home would be, as students or as an individual in life, you must be ready to embrace change, because change is inevitable in the long run. As long as we are going to have different people coming on board, the world is evolving, as you put it earlier. So change is inevitable. We just have to rightly position ourselves and be able to find benefits in that change that has come. Beautiful. So before we break for some minutes, we are going to have a trivia challenge. As Campus Chronicles, we've got a culture. So we have this.
Okay.
I think you remember from last time we visited.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I do. I didn't just prepare myself for it.
Oh, yeah. So every time you're coming here, you need to be ready, because we always have that challenge.
It's
so
fun,
it is. After this segment, we're going to break for a few minutes and come back and wrap it up. All right. So it's time. It's one of my favorite parts, this, because it gets you thinking.
I know, right?
Yes. So our trivia challenge today, you will be required to name 13 schools of the University of Zambia. Let's see if you know them. Are you ready?
Wow.
Just 13.
13 schools.
13 schools.
Okay, we'll try. So.
Is somebody counting? Should I be counting?
Okay, let's try it. So the prestigious school, obviously, that the University of Zambia has, the one and only, that's the School of Law, 1.
Okay.
The School of Humanities, 2.
Yes.
The School of Education, 3.
Yes.
The School of Veterinary Medicine, 4. Graduate School of Business, 5. The School of Public Health, 6. The School of Natural Sciences, 7. The School of Medicine, 8. The School of Agriculture, 9. How many am I remaining with? 5.
No. 10, 11, 12, 13. I think you're remaining with 4.
4.
Yes.
The school of these schools that are at Ridgeway. 9. The school of Biomed.
Let me check. No. Is it a school? I don't know.
Pharmaceutical sciences is which school now? I'll start mentioning programs here.
Anyway, you don't have to.
No,
beat yourself
I know
to
those
it.
9. I know those 9, and I know that we have 13 schools.
Yes.
And please, if I didn't mention your school and you're listening now, trust me, you belong to the only university in Zambia.
It doesn't
the
matter
University
what
of
school.
Zambia. Exactly, we are all Unza one.
Yeah, you did well. Actually, if I was in your place, I was just gonna be able to mention less than 5.
I deserve a round of applause. Don't you think so? Oh yes.
You do. All right, so we're gonna break for 3 minutes, then be back. Catch you when we are back. It's been amazing. You can still be part of this beautiful discussion, though we're in our last segment, but you can still pick 1 or 2. We are back. You're happy to be back on the Barrister?
Yes, super excited. I was just waiting and enjoying the music.
Oh, yeah? All right, so over the years, Great East Road has been a hotspot for accidents. All right, I'm sure we're getting this from what just happened, the previous accident that we had. Yeah, involving not just students, but many road users. Yeah. Unfortunately, this time a student was the victim, adding to the growing list of tragic incidents near campus. Year in, year out, accidents continue to happen along this stretch, raising concerns about road safety, right? Do you think student leadership should take a more active role in pushing for better safety measures, such as pedestrian bridges, speed bumps, or stricter traffic enforcement to protect students and the general public? Do you think there are any measures that the student union can, push for?
Thank you so much for that question. And,
Was it clear enough?
Yes, it was.
All
It
right.
was. It was.
Okay.
Yeah, it just provokes certain emotions.
It
And
does.
I think before I even respond, may I actually, in solidarity, wish to say that may the soul of the student that we just buried yesterday rest in eternal peace. That's Stumbeko Mtanuka, the one that we recently lost.
Yeah.
You see, the university records on an average of 10 road accidents where students are affected annually, and out of which you will find that it's on an average of about 3 or 4 students that die as a result of those same road accidents, of which those incidents are experienced in the highway Great East Road campus.
Yes.
The argument that we've normally seen or received is that no, Great East Road is an economical road, it's a highway, it's a presidential route. But how many highways have we seen that
are not killing people as much as
Exactly.
Great East?
And you see that it's because those highways have got speed bumps. There's a bridge, yes, of which we appreciate the efforts of the leadership then and the government then that responded to the cries of the students who were continuously being bashed. But that bridge today, the fate is different because it's actually more scary to use the bridge than to cross the road because of the people that you're going to find on the bridge. I haven't yet found a better terminology to identify or categorize the people that are found there other than calling them junkies. You will find junkies on that route, and most students have been victims of, no, they got my phone, they got money, they got my laptop. There are students who stay in Kalundu because the issue of accommodation is one crisis that has been cried about, I think, since inception of over-enrollment, and even since the 20th and 21st century, students have been crying issues of accommodation. So most of the students stay outside campus. But to respond directly to your question, I strongly believe the current leadership, that's both at student level, management level, even concerted efforts from the government, because a life that is lost, especially a life of a student, it's not just a loss to the family that child comes from. It's not just a loss to the students. It's not a loss to management. It's actually a loss even to the country, especially the student that just died. That was a first-year economic student. And when you look at even the trajectory that we are moving in as a nation, we need such human resource. But if we're going to continue losing students to Great East Road and expect that it should only be Unza who should advocate that we should have speed bumps or find measures that are going to protect students, then trust me, their voices will not be amplified and their efforts will just be but meaningless. Because the only thing that we'll only be doing is let's go roadside and demonstrate. After we demonstrate, no, okay, they have demonstrated, so what's next? Things are back to normal, it's business as usual. It shouldn't be the case. So if only the deaths of students are speaking to the conscience of management, they are speaking to the conscience of government, we shouldn't go out there to even fundraise. RDA, the government, the local government ministry, the Ministry of Lands and Technology, they should just, give those directives, because I believe we have the resources, we have what it takes. It shouldn't take us to go and bend tires at the road for them to respond to the problems that we are facing. They can quickly and amicably settle those matters without us even demonstrating. So I strongly believe it shouldn't just be Unzasu or management or the government alone, but it should be concerted efforts between Unzasu management and the government to ensure that they respond to this calamity that is befalling the students, and not just at the University of Zambia, but any other university that is near to a highway and they are recording similar incidents. It's just that the University of Zambia, the voices are always amplified because students keep on facing such tragedies. Last year, we saw what happened at CBU. Students were bashed there and students were killed. We don't want such things, such records. At least we know that death is inevitable. But let's not lose students to avoidable means of death.
Yeah, that's true. I saw comments on Facebook concerning the bridge. The public was saying, no, there's a bridge there, but students don't want to use it, even when it's safe. All right.
Let them come and cross.
They're saying even when it's safe, the students still don't want to use it. So do you think it's unsafe throughout, or there are times it is safe to use the bridge?
It's really disheartening to actually mention that even during broad daylight, we are having this interview around lunch hour now. Go there, you will find even junkies who will start welcoming you by East Park, asking you where you are going as if he's the driver, or if you tell them your destination, they will find the shortest route if you are late. You know that there is a station that is taking you to town. Just approach Prime Joint, you will find junkies there. And this is the call that even the New Dawn government has been making, that cadres are not to be allowed to be in stations.
Exactly.
But it's so unfortunate that you will see these cadres busy roaming these stations. They will even grab handbags from our mamas. They will grab their handbags. No, are you going in town? Are you going to Chilston? They grab the handbag. Let's go. It's this bus. Before you realize it, that person goes missing. And those, you will even find them on the bridge. You want to pass by the bridge? No, it's the time is not even defined, because that's their bedroom, that's their living room, that's where they stay. So there is no time that you're going to pass that you will find that things are okay. And it's quite unfortunate that even the police, the law enforcers, they are aware, because some of them that board buses, they meet up with these same people who even ask them in their uniform, bwana mwenda mtown or mwenda kuchelston. They will even no nyenda mtown na 10 kwacha na zingati kwacha. So you will see that these are the same people that are supposed to be chasing these people, because they are not, they're not bus conductors who are supposed to start interviewing or interrogating you where you are going. And students feel unsafe to do that, to even cross the same bridge. So it's a call initially to even law enforcement agencies, to the government, to strengthen these forces that are supposed to provide us with the protection that we deserve. Because that bridge, it's still in good shape. Students can even use it. But the people that we find there, they make it unsafe for us to use. Hence, feeling even safe to use the road that is killing students.
Wow. I think that has been exhausted.
Thank you.
All right, so let's move to our second last question of discussion. Beyond road safety, we've also seen other tragic incidents, right? Like last year's electrocution case that happened on campus. You remember that?
Oh, yes, I did.
Yes. So while not everything can be blamed on the student union, do you think they should be doing more to push for safer living conditions both on and off campus? What role can student leaders play in ensuring that issues like these are addressed more urgently? Because it takes time, really.
Sure.
Yeah. So do you think there are any better or faster ways?
Thank you so much. I do believe that to every problem there's a solution to it.
Yes.
And if you're able to identify a problem, fail to identify the solution, then you are the problem. Exactly. As Unzasu or as any student union, a union is in existence to put pressure because exactly,
Yeah.
it is a pressure group. It's a pressure group not just to identify the problem but to equally identify the solutions. Thus, I believe that Unzasu, any other student union that is tasked with the responsibility to represent students, these are not my last words because I believe to some listeners they have heard me say these words, and I'll keep on saying these words every platform that I get to speak to a youth.
Okay.
And now I speak to all the listeners and not just students. Please bear in mind that the decisions that you make now will either pay you later or you are going to pay for the decisions that you are making. Thus, let's not just be moved because our friends are doing it, we feel we can also do it. Let's look at where we come from, because remember, we were all born looking like our parents, but we shall all die looking like our decisions. I submit.
Oh my goodness. I felt it right in the heart. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful segment today with Unza Barrister. I hope you learned one or two, you that is listening to this conversation, or you that was listening. I was your host for today, Jay. Catch you later next week, same time, same place.